Here's what's happening right now. People are gathered at a popular gay club in Columbia to honor those killed in the Orlando massacre. Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Adam Tressler. The vigil is taking place at the Arch and Column Pub. That's where Amina Petinich joins us live. Amina?
It might not look like a normal vigil inside the Arch and Column Pub, but people here definitely have Orlando on their minds. The vigil will include a candlelight ceremony and the gathering right behind the pub. I spoke to one attendee who said that it was important for him and others to show their support for the entire LGBT community.
I think because many of us realize that it could be us. I mean, this is a bar that we've come to and hung out at for years. And we come here because we feel safe and comfortable. And we've never thought that somebody might walk through the door here sometime and gun us down.
As the liaison for CPD, it's important for us to support every member of our community, every group that's in our community, and me being here tonight is just showing that we, as the Columbia Police Department in the City of Columbia, support all the different members and groups in the City of Columbia.
I also spoke with the owner of the pub, and he said anyone who wants to stop by is more than welcome. Reporting live in Columbia, Amina Petinich, KMU8 News.
A new study shows more people are dying from gunshot wounds despite more help from modern medicine.
With the Orlando shooting reigniting gun control debate, the study found that there are more people dying from gunshot wounds now than the previous 10 years. One expert told me that you have to look inside the gun to find the problem.
I haven't seen any large caliber assault rifle type injuries. Most of the ones I've seen over the last year have been smaller pistol wounds.
I spoke with another MU health official who told me that while the severity of gunshot wounds is not an issue, the emergency room has seen higher numbers of gunshot wounds in total. To see a copy of the American Medical Association study, you can visit our website at komu.com.
The Pulaski County Sheriff's Department confirmed a toddler died today after she was found unconscious in a swimming pool yesterday afternoon. When police arrived, they found several people trying to administer CPR on the 2-year-old. According to witnesses, the toddler was left unattended when she climbed into the pool. The incident is under investigation. A Columbia man is in custody for child pornography today. Officers arrested this man, Daniel Rowe, yesterday. They say they recovered hundreds of images portraying sexual molestation of children during a search of his computers. Officials estimate Rowe had about 200 gigabytes of child porn.
The city of Fulton has experienced power outages recently from an unlikely source. Vultures have been flying into power lines, causing short power outages. The power lines run from Fulton to Columbia, where the birds gather near the Columbia landfill. A worker at the landfill says some trees where the birds were gathering have been removed in an effort to discourage the vultures from staying near the landfill. The landfill is working with the city of Fulton to combat the issue.
Jefferson City residents want to make sure a historic black district lives on with the dedication of a memorial plaque. KOMU8's Kristen Reeser is here to tell us what today's ceremony meant for the community.
Dozens of businesses and homes in the Foote District were demolished in the 1950s and 60s because of the end of segregation and urban renewal. These pictures gave glimpses of how the neighborhood once looked, and past residents shared memories of what used to be a thriving black community. Glover Brown lived in the area with his father until 1957.
He had 3 commercial properties and he owned 14 pieces of residential property, and they were all taken as a result of urban renewal. So not only did we lose our legacy, our livelihood, we lost our home.
Glover Brown and his brother Art Brown organized today's event. They say their family is one of many black families that are coming together to share their stories of loss. Historians will interview people who lived, worked, or visited the district so people understand what life was like there. About 50 people were at the dedication, including Jefferson City's mayor and a state representative.
The University of Missouri interim president Michael Middleton gave his annual State of the University address this morning. He talked about the many successes and advancements the UM system has made in the past year. These include education, research, economic development, and service. Although he did not mention the protests in November, he did say despite the challenges the university has faced in the last year, it has not stopped being an enormous asset to the state of the university. It was another hot day, so let's send it over to Alyssa for a look at our Father's Day weekend forecast.
It was a sunny day. It was still hot though, but we are seeing clear skies right now.
If you have a high school student in your family, you might feel a little more secure in the future. The state passed a law requiring CPR training for high school students in public and charter schools. KOMU 8's LaShawn Guo joins us in the studio to tell us why this is important.
The new bill requires high school students to receive 30 minutes of CPR training for life-saving skills before graduation. According to American Heart Association, more than 350,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests happen in the U.S. each year, and CPR can double or triple a person's chance of survival. A mother who has sons in middle and high school says it's a wonderful decision and more kids should be able to do CPR.
It will empower them to be able to do something in a crisis instead of just sit there and watch.
The law will take effect during the 2017 to 2018 school year, and over 60,000 Missouri students will soon receive this training.
Competition was brewing tonight in Jefferson City as beer makers from around the country gathered to battle it out for a good cause. The Battle of the Brews featured Jefferson City's only microbrewery, Prison Brews. It also had some home brewers who are trying to make a name for themselves. One of them says the city is ripe for more breweries to open up, and that Battle of the Brews is a perfect and cheap way to try to do that.
Basically, all you're paying for is your beer to get out there, and I think they're estimating 600 people to be out here, so 600 people plus the breweries will be able to see your name and try your beers, and it's a cheaper way to just advertise your name.
10 microbreweries participated, including 2 from Colorado. All the money raised will go to Samaritan Center, Special Olympics Missouri, and the McClung Park Inclusive Swing Project.
Keeping cool this week has been a struggle, even with the AC, so we'll tell you coming up what some Columbia residents are doing to keep their air conditioners running.
And Charleston's coming together tonight to remember those lost in the mass shooting last year. How they game to forgive the shooter after the break.
It was an absolutely gorgeous day today. Looking at the time lapse over Columbia Airport, we saw abundant sunshine, and although it still was a hot day, we got a break from that muggy and humid feeling outside. Most of us got into the 90s today, which is still cooler than what we've been feeling the past few days. And it will be cooler for the rest of the evening and be clear tonight as well. But for the rest of the evening, the rest of the weekend, we will be warm for Saturday and Sunday for Father's Day. And then we do have a cold front moving through on Monday, which will bring us some rain chances on Tuesday, which I will talk about later. But donate to KOMU 8's fan club, and that is at Lowe's in Columbia and Westlake Hardware in Jefferson City and Fulton.
Definitely something that will be needed as summer, the official start of summer is right around the corner, although it has felt like summer for a while.
After last week, though, I think it's already summer.
Right.
Well, after this week's hot weather, many Columbia residents have had trouble keeping cool because their air conditioners are breaking. Jerry Hall, the general manager at MasterTech Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, said air conditioners have to work a lot harder because of this heat. So he said he wants people to understand that air conditioning systems are designed to cool about 20 degrees. One resident says he's had trouble with his air for weeks.
It's really hot. It's not running. The AC is running, but obviously there's not enough Freon, so it's not cooling the house fast enough. So it stay 80, 85. Wow. Even like at 8 o'clock, it's 80 degrees.
If the system is doing that, it's doing all it can, and sometimes just with the heat, it just can't keep up. It's just so hot. So.
Hall said air conditioning filters should be changed every 3 months, and you can hose the outside of it off. If the air conditioner needs a serious deep cleaning, he suggests you call a heating and cooling company. Disney World is making changes to the lake where a 2-year-old was attacked by an alligator.
What changes are in plans and how that will affect future visitors? That coming up. Thousands of people gathered in Charleston today to mark the 1 year since a shooting massacre in the historically black church. Speakers praised the victims' family and their survivors for their ongoing faith and forgiving the shooter, Dylann Roof. They also pushed for stricter gun control. Roof has been charged with 9 counts of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Disney World says it has now decided to add additional warning signs and barriers following the death of a 2-year-old in an alligator attack. Disney just started putting up the barriers today, but hasn't specified how many new signs will be there. The medical examiner is ruling that the toddler died from drowning and traumatic injuries after his father tried to wrestle him away from the alligator. The last gator-related injury at Disney World was 30 years ago. Dozens of U.S. diplomats have reportedly called for airstrikes against the Syrian government in an internal memo that critiqued the White House policy. These diplomats are mostly mid-level employees that say the United States should carry out military strikes against the government of Bashar al-Assad. Secretary of State John Kerry says he plans to meet with the diplomats. More than 400,000 people have been killed in Syria over the past 5 years.
The International Association of Athletics Federations upheld its ban on Russia's track and field team competing in international events today. This includes the Rio Olympics in August. The Russian Sports Ministry says the IAAF ruled the country has not done enough to earn reinstatement. The suspension was imposed in November following a report that alleged state-sponsored cheating, corruption, and cover-ups in Russian track and field. Michael Fulmer is making history tonight against the Royals.
We'll have more on his feat next in sports.
Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
Schools like Rockbridge and Battle have certainly risen the level of competition on the gridiron recently, but looking at the numbers, Jeff City is the program others have looked at over time. That's all for sports.
Coming up, how one aquarium gave people a unique view of an underwater adventure. Yesterday was World Sea Turtle Day, and to mark the occasion, the Audubon Aquarium in New Orleans gave people a look under the sea. They strapped a GoPro camera onto the back of King Midas, their resident green sea turtle, and the video is pretty incredible. It gave viewers a front seat to an amazing underwater journey. The aquarium hopes to bring awareness to endangered turtles like Midas. 6 out of 7 species of sea turtles are considered endangered worldwide. Now here's a look at what we're following for KOMU 8 News at 10. More developments on the Orlando shooting and what's being done to honor the victims.
And we look deeper into the new bill mandating that Missouri high schools add first aid curriculum to classrooms.
It'll be a gorgeous weekend this weekend. Sunny on Saturday with a high around 90 degrees, and then Father's Day will be another sunny day, but it will be a hot one, a high of 92 degrees. And then for our 8-day forecast, Monday is our first day of summer, and it will feel like summer as well, a high of 94. But then we have a cold front move through, and Tuesday we do have a chance for rain, but it will cool us off just a little for Tuesday through Thursday, and then summer-like temps come back on Friday and Saturday as we get back into the 90s.
The 13th annual Hit the Bricks Fulton Street Fair is in full swing today and hopes that people keep cool in the heat. Vendors brought personal fans and water to stay hydrated throughout the day. The First Presbyterian Church volunteered a cooling station for visitors at the fair. The station had ice water, fans, and even a shaded area.
They had the idea of doing the cooling station. They just wanted to be a part of this great community event, and they felt like that was one way they could give back to the community by providing this area for people to cool off.
Smith says that if the cooling station isn't enough, organizers also have first aid personnel at the fair to help keep people cool. The fair runs through tomorrow night.
And while it is certainly going to be hot, at least the humidity is not quite as bad out there. If you're going to go out to the fair tomorrow, definitely bring lots of water. That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.